Great. So I'm really happy to be here today. I'm so excited. I'm really passionate to talk about business. I love business. I loved business even in high school, and it wasn't, I mean, I tried to be cool in high school, and it wasn't really cool to be an FBLA, but I was anyway, because I loved it so much. And I've always loved business. It was my major in college, and I read a lot of books. I've never read a novel. I've never read any book, but I read lots and lots and lots of business books. Like, to me, it's just a real passion, and I love it, and I'm excited to talk to you today about how awesome it is to have your own business and what a cool thing. I want to start by drawing this pyramid. I told my son, our baby is in high school, and he's graduating. He's a senior, and we live in Salt Lake City. He's a senior at Olympus High this year. And I said, I do a lot of speaking. And I said, I'm going to go speak at SUU today. And he said, oh, are you going to talk about the pyramid? I'm like, oh, no, I didn't put it in there. But I should have, and so because it was fresh in my mind, I'm going to talk to you about it. So this pyramid represents all people, right? So 27% of people are pessimistic and negative. These are the people that are excited for the weekend because they hate the week. These are the people that, you know, the glass is half empty instead of half full. They're just, you know, these people. They're always, you know, oh, it's raining, or oh, it's snowing, or oh, it's school. They're just negative. In business, we do a lot of interviewing and screening because you never want to have 27%ers work for you because they're so negative, and and negativity can bring anything down. A business, a family, a school. Negativity is not okay, and in business, it's very expensive. I try to picture negativity. I try to picture dollars burning. That's how expensive it is. Then you've got 60% of the population. These are great people. These are most people. These are awesome people. These are wonderful people. These are the people that do the same thing that everybody else is doing. They follow. If there's a line, then they're going to stand in that line because that must be what you're supposed to do. So these are kind of followers, and these are good people, but they really are, the 60%ers, the followers, okay? Then you've got the 10%ers. 10%ers are overachievers, and these are the people that you want to hire. If these are the people that they see something on the ground, they're going to pick it up, even if they didn't drop it. They are movers and shakers, and they're just awesome. And then there are 3%ers. 3%ers. 3% of the population march to the beat of their own drum. And they don't follow rules well, and they don't color inside the lines, and they're going to do whatever they want to do, and they're not going to follow the rules. So when you're in business, you want to hire 10%ers, and you don't really want to hire 3%ers because they're just going to copy what you do and go start their own business, right? So I'm actually a 10%er that is a 3%er too, but I am a mover and a shaker and a driver. My husband, who's my business partner, is a 3%er. He made a terrible employee. I was a great employee. But I'm such a great employee, I'm like, I got to be doing this for myself. I shouldn't work this hard for somebody else. So, but my husband's a 3%er. He never can, he's unemployable. He has to work for himself because he makes his own rules. I wonder if inside, if you guys know which one of these you fit in. If you're a 27%er, you can do some work and get out of that. If you're 60%er, that's great, but you probably shouldn't start your own business. If you're a 10%er or a 3%er, you might want to consider starting your own business. There's nothing wrong with working for somebody else. There's some incredible causes out there. I worked many years for other people. For the past 28 years, I've had my own business. But, you know, for years and years before that, I worked for other people, and I loved it. There's nothing wrong with working for somebody else. It's their big cause. But it's really awesome to do your own thing, too. It's so cool. It affords you so many opportunities. So I'm going to assume if you took this class, if you're here, you are interested in being an entrepreneur. So I want to talk about that. So ask yourself, you totally have got this going on in your head. What are you going to be? I mean, that's why you're at school. Like, what's your major? What am I going to do? I mean, all of you are thinking about that, right? That's why you're here at school. But what I want you to ask is, what do you really want to do? What do you really want to do? Like, what is your real passion? My real passion is business. Like, I start so many businesses, and my really great friend Rich Christensen, my gosh, he started so many businesses, and I'm that same way. I'm just starting businesses. I now have 3 core businesses that I've committed to not start anymore. I've sold off a few other businesses because sometimes it's just too much. I just love any business. I have to tell you my personal experience. So I started business, I knew I was going to do business. And I got engaged and married when I was young, 23-year-old. And my husband and I asked him when we were engaged, I said, what are you going to be? And he said, it doesn't matter, I'm going to be the best at whatever I am. And now looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, I was crazy, I didn't really pay attention. But that worked for me, that was a good answer. So we were married after 2 weeks. This is my husband, the bald guy. I'm not the one that's bald. This is my husband. We just celebrated 35 years of marriage, so trial period's over, it's probably going to work. 2 weeks after we'd been married, my husband said, oh, we're lying in bed that night. He's like, oh, I got laid off today. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, the company closed, so I got laid off. I'm like, are you kidding? I had a great job, but what was he doing? And he's like, yeah, well, yeah, the business closed. I'm like, what are you going to do? He's like, I don't know. I'm like, okay, what do you want to do? He's like, well, what I want to do, I can't do. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I'm embarrassed to tell you how short we were engaged and how little I knew, because I don't recommend that, but I literally knew about this much about my husband when I got married to him. Luckily, I don't know how it worked, but it did. But I wouldn't suggest doing that. But he's like, what I want to do, I can't do. I'm like, why can't you do it? And he's like, I just can't. I'm like, oh my gosh, Todd, what do you want to do? He's like, I want to be a chiropractor. I'm like, what? You want to be a chiropractor? He's like, yes, I've always wanted to be a chiropractor my whole life. I'm like, and you can't do that because? He's like, well, I slept more school than I went to in high school. I barely graduated with D's. I went snow skiing all the time. I didn't like going to school. I hated school. I didn't do well at school. And it's going to be 10 years of school. And my parents have no money. So my father passed away when my little brother was a day old. And my mother was left with 5 kids under the age of 6. So we lived on, my father had been in the Korean War, so we lived on VA benefits and Social Security. My mom stayed home with 5 kids. We had nothing. We were very poor growing up. My husband, his father was a school teacher, and maybe they make more money now, but they did not make very great money. And his family was pretty poor. So he said, your mom doesn't have any money, my parents don't have money, we don't have anything, I can't afford to go to school, I can't afford to do this, I can't afford to do it, I didn't do well in school, I haven't even been to school, and it'll take too long. He had all these reasons, and I'm like, how much would you like to be a chiropractor? He's like, I really want to be a chiropractor. I'm like, okay, well then, I'm not going to be married to somebody who doesn't do what they really want to do. Of course you can do it, and we're going to do it. So he went the next day, he registered for school, and he got through chiropractic school and became a chiropractor. And because I'm so passionate about business, I'm like, oh cool, this is going to be, here's a business for me to work with. So my husband he's not good at business, he's a great practitioner. But I'm the business person, so I'm like, oh, this is great. So we built this incredible business. We built a very large chiropractic business, and then after that, we built large physical medicine clinics. And I'm not trying to be a braggart today or anything. I'm trying to tell you some of the great things you can do starting from nothing, the cool things you can do just because you guys want to be entrepreneurs. I want to tell you that you literally can have and be and do anything you want, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise, because it's not true. You can do anything. Most chiropractic businesses maybe are lucky to do $200,000 a year. In our physical medicine clinics, we did $10 million a year. We had the largest clinics in the country in Salt Lake City, multiple clinics. Very large, very successful. And the reason we did is because I studied the business principles on how to be successful. My husband has this incredible mindset that he can do anything. And I'm going to teach you guys today simple principles, really there's 3 simple things that you can do that can help you be successful in anything at all that you choose to do. I really want you to leave thinking you can have and be and do anything you want, because it is true. Again, not to brag, but just to show you these 2 people that were raised very poor. We go all over the world. We do all kinds of things. We just did an event on a cruise where we stopped in Cuba. Has anybody been to Cuba? It's so freaking cool. They drive all these old cars because before you guys were born, there was this embargo that we wouldn't trade with Cuba, and so they only had all these old cars, but they have them all painted, and it's really cool. Did you see Fast and Furious, the last one? Nobody saw Fast and Furious? Right? Was it great? It was so cool that first car was filmed in Cuba. Anyway, we just got back from Cuba. A few months before then, we were in, this is such a cool place in Greece. That's where we were in Greece. We were in Rome. We've been to islands all over the place. We're headed to Ireland to do some speaking. We are Disney people. You know why I love Disney? Because Walt Disney was like the most brilliant business person in the world. You just sit there and it's business everywhere. You can just see all the cool things that he did. He was brilliant. Disney is such a great business company and model. We go there multiple times a year. And we get to do really cool things, like this is us with Dr. Oz sitting on his, this is out in his office. We stepped outside, he's like, yeah, there's Jimmy Fallon's office over there. He's a really cool guy. We've been invited to his house for dinner next month. Like, he's just a really cool guy that we work with through some business things that we do. There's nothing that you can't do. People that anybody you can meet, you want to meet, you can. It's just, there's 3 things you have to do. So after many years of helping, I started helping consult with other doctors about 25 years ago. So I've been helping our business and helping other businesses, and mostly doctors' offices, but all business principles are the same. And it really takes, I've noticed that those are successful. Several years back, I'm like, 3 things. There are 3 things that people that are really successful have in common. And I want to share those 3 things with you today. Those 3 things are, number 1, your headspace. The way you think. I talked about the 27% of people that were negative, the 60% of people that are followers. These are like the 10%, the positive. You know, the people that have the great headspace. You know who they are. Maybe you're that person. The kind of people that you like to be around because they're just so stinking awesome and so positive. That is the most important. We're going to talk about that. The second thing is having the right systems in the right business. And there's no limit to what that could be, but I'm going to give you some guidelines on what that could be and what that should be. And then the third thing is you got to freaking work. You got to work. Working feels fantastic. You don't have, you can work 4 hours a day, you can work 6 hours a day, you can work 12 hours a day. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that book, The 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. Anybody read that book? Tim works way more than 4 hours a week. But it's a good concept, right? You can choose what it is, but when you do it, it's got to be focused, hard work. I want to talk about these 3 things. First of all, headspace. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about this failure right here. 1831, he fails in business. 32, he's defeated for legislature. 33, he fails again in business. 35, his sweetheart dies. 36, he has a nervous breakdown. 38, he's defeated for speaker. 40, he's defeated for elector. 43, he's defeated for Congress. 48, he's defeated for Congress. 55, he's defeated for Senate. 56, he's defeated for vice president. 58, he's defeated for Senate. What a freaking loser. What a loser. Can you imagine? His wife was like, please don't win again. This is so embarrassing. People are laughing. Like, come on. You've lost so much. This is embarrassing. What were people saying to him? Stop already. You've lost enough. Why do you keep going? What in the heck was going on in the mindset of Abraham Lincoln? Something awesome was, because he's like one of our greatest presidents, right? So it didn't matter all the failure he had, nor does it matter all the failure that you have, even though you're relatively all pretty young. You've all had failures in your life, and you're going to have so many more, and it's okay. It's not about how many times you fail, it's about how many times you get up and keep going. Failures can be awesome. So Abraham Lincoln was such a failure, but he wasn't, because in his head he was not a failure. There is a book, all of you should write this down. All of you should go online and get a free download. All of you should go online and get a free, you can get a free recording of this. This is one of the most awesome books ever written, and it's called The Science of Getting Rich. Has anybody ever heard of this? Have you? It is so stinking cool. It's written by Wallace Wattles in 1910. And a few years ago, you know, when you're in business, When you're in business, you're going to make money and you're going to lose money. You're going to make money, you're going to lose money. Well, about 10 years ago, we lost, in one of our businesses, we lost $4 million. And it was a big ouch. It was a big ouch. Like it was such a big ouch that we had an 11,000 square foot home that we had to downsize and live in with my widowed mother. I mean, it's okay because it all came back, but there was a period of time that things were bad. And I remember going, oh, life is so unfair, and life is so awful, and life is terrible, and we hadn't done anything wrong, and this bad stuff happened, and blah, blah, blah. All this negativity. And then I went, wait a minute. When I was poor growing up, my husband was poor growing up. When we got out of school, we had all these student debts. When we wanted to open up a practice, we went to the first bank and knocked on the door, and they laughed at us. A chiropractor? No, we're not going to give you a loan. Like, they couldn't even say it right. They're like, we went to 12 banks, and they're like, no, we're not going to give you guys a loan. So we knocked on the 13th door, and we had this great business proposal that we were really proud of, and we laid out the whole thing to all these big banks, and they all just like, no, 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 no. Number 13 said, you know, my wife worked for a chiropractor, and he had a pretty good business. I'll give you guys a loan. It was Zions Bank gave us the loan. And if we had stopped at 12 doors, we wouldn't have gotten a loan, but we knocked on 13 doors. So then I started remembering, okay, it's okay if you lost money. You've had nothing before. You can get it all back. I started listening to this, the science of getting rich. And I would listen, and then I'd rewind, and then try to memorize it, and fast forward, and rewind, and fast forward, and I memorized it. And this is what it says. It says, it's really, I mean, it's long, but this is one piece that I memorized. It says, there is a thinking stuff from which all things are made, which in its original form permeates and penetrates the inner spaces of the universe. A thought in this substance creates the thing that is imaged by the thought. What? So I'd rewind and listen, and rewind and listen, and rewind and listen, and memorize. And what it's saying is, oh my gosh, what this thing is saying is, if you think about this long enough, you create it. So is it magic? Well, what happens, the more you think about something, you think about it, then you start talking about it, and you talk about it, and you talk about it, then you act on it, and it becomes a reality. So be so careful what you're thinking about, because whatever you're thinking about in every aspect of your life will manifest itself. There's nothing magical about it. It's just life. You think about it, it's going to happen, right? You're thinking right now, okay, I'm going to have this for lunch. You're going to go do it. If you're thinking, okay, I shouldn't go to McDonald's because that's not a good place to eat, but I really want a Big Mac and fries, then that's where you're going to go, right? So be careful what you think, because it's going to manifest. Anybody who wants any extra lift in their life, I'm telling you, we have helped thousands of clients through the years, and I make them all read this, because if they don't have the foundation that it starts in here, they're never going to succeed. We had a doctor that sat down with us, and we teach. I started my business. We had a chiropractic business, and then we changed and had a physical medicine business, and then my husband said, you know what I'm really passionate about, what I really love, after 25 years of practicing, what I really love is when I change the way somebody eats, and their life changes. I change the way somebody eats, and they don't have back pain. I change the way somebody eats, and their diabetes goes away. Change the way somebody eats, and their neuropathy goes away. I change the way somebody eats, and all of a sudden they can conceive. Like, wow, this is like mind-blowing. I want to do that. I'm like, are you freaking kidding? We're going to do a new business now? So we did. We started a nutritional clinic, and we changed people's lives, and it's amazing. And not only do we change people's lives, like literally people that are like on their really down and out in Beverly Hills sick-wise, and we change their lives, and we have found a way to monetize it. It's very great income. It's a great exchange. People get better, and we make good money, and it's awesome. And so nobody else in the country is doing it like this. So we teach doctors all across the country. We teach medical doctors. We teach nurses. We teach chiropractors. We teach acupuncturists. We teach naturopaths. We have lots of different medical professionals that come to us, and we teach them. So once I was back in, I think it was 2009, I sat down with a doctor and his wife. We have trainings. We just had one last weekend, people flying in from all over the country. And we have one day that we teach them, and then one day we have one-on-one modules. And I have a module that I sit down with the doctor, and I talk about a business plan where they're going to get started, and I have a module that I do that with them. So several years ago, I sat down with this doctor, and he brought his wife with him. And I set him down in my office, and we were going to have this talk about where they should start Monday morning. And his wife said, wait, before you get started, I just want to say, my husband is not going to be able to do this. I'm like, why? She's like, because he's never succeeded. He's a chiropractor. He's never succeeded. He's never made any money in his practice. It's been a terrible life. We've been poor. He doesn't ever succeed. And here's just one more thing that he's not going to succeed in. And I said, okay, so who has a higher IQ, you or me? She's like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know either. It's not obvious that I'm smarter than you, so I don't know that I'm even smarter than you. We have a system that works, and it's worked for, across the country it's working. The only difference between me and you, or me and my husband, or we're partners, and you and your husband and your partners, is that we think we can do it, and you think you can't. We're not smarter than you are. We just think we can do it, and you think you can't. That's the only difference. And we actually have a great system, and we actually implement it. So I said to them, here's what I want you to do. We've got the system. We've got everything to hand you on a silver platter to go home, and we tell doctors, we'll teach you how to make an extra $100,000 a month. We want you to make, $1.2 million a year in this new add-on business, okay? And I said, I want you to call, we've got the system. What I want you to do, I want you every single day to listen to the Science of Getting Rich. Every day, both of you. Because your only problem is stinking thinking. You just got a headspace issue. So you listen every single day. So he calls me a few months later and he said, so far today I've sold $14,000 and changing people's lives. I'm like, see, you can do it. He said, everything changed when I changed up here, everything. So I just want to tell you that if any of you are not in the situation that you want that's perfect in your life, please go back, please read this, Science of Getting Rich. It's like the most valuable thing that I could possibly tell you to do. Because if you think you can, you're right. If you think you can't, you're right. You literally create your future with your thoughts, and you cannot afford the expense of a negative thought. I told you before that, I want you to be aware of this. When you're in school, when you're in this class, or you're in any classes, or you're thinking about getting a job, or you're thinking about the business you're going to do, or anything in life, you're going to say, this is too much work, or this is too hard, or oh, I'm not smart enough, or I'm too busy, or I'm afraid, or it's going to cost me too much, or it might not work, or maybe this isn't for me. You're going to say some of those, and you can't afford that. Like I said, I envision like money burning when they're stinking thinking. It is literally money burning. You cannot afford to do that. So the conversation in your head will cause you to make money or lose money, and you are in complete control of that. So anything that you say, this isn't going to work, I can't do that, bad things happen to me, whatever that is, any negativity, too expensive, you've got to get rid of it. But what if you're negative by nature? How do you change that? There's a simple way. And all you need to say is when something terrible happens, you say, what's great about this? What's great about this? Because there's always something great in everything. I told you we lost $4 million and had to move out of our 11,000 square foot home and in with my mom for a time, and it was awful. And I remember lying in bed just going, oh, our life sucks, this is awful. We didn't deserve this, and we worked so hard, and it's not fair. And my husband said, well, what's great about this? I'm like, shut up. Nothing is great about this. This is awful. He's like, Nancy, what's great about this? I'm like, well, we don't have to do anything today. We can do whatever we want. Then I would start finding what's great about this. There's always something great about everything. There's always something great. So if you are a negative person, or if you're around negative people, just change that one question and say, what's great about this? And it'll turn everything around. If you're like, I don't know how to be positive. Yes, you do. You have the tool now. You ask the right question. What's great about this? So the difference in those that succeed and those that don't is, as I was saying, is the way that they think and then it's the way they start talking, and then it's the way they start acting. So it all starts with your thoughts. So be careful about what you're thinking. Every one of us has this like bucket in our head, in our brain, that's filled full of your top problem. If we went around, which we're not going to, but if we went around and asked each person, what's your number one problem? Everybody would have one. Some of them would be pretty big and some of them wouldn't be that big, but everybody has a number one problem right now. And guess what? As soon as you solve that, the bucket will dump and a new one will come in. There's always going to be, always going to be a problem. The only people that don't have problems are dead. Like, everybody has problems. But you can either look at those problems and say, is it an opportunity or is it a problem? Because every problem literally is an opportunity. It literally is. I can look back now on the 4 million we lost and think, yeah, that was such a great experience. Like, it literally was a great experience, especially for our children. I remember my daughter, we were flying, we have 4 children, and we were flying first class from Salt Lake City to Florida to go to Disney World during Christmas, and her birthday's the 27th, and she's like, we're always on an airplane on my birthday. So awful. And I just thought, you little brat. And so for a time, she didn't have anything, and it was awesome for her. It was awesome. It was a great thing for those kids to realize. I think everybody should be born poor and have to earn it themselves, and that their parents should make it for them. So that was awesome. Maybe you know who Elizabeth Smart is? So she went to the same high school that my kids did. You know, if we were in downtown Salt Lake, some of you are probably from Salt Lake, and you've all been there surely. If we were in downtown Salt Lake, we would see lots of homeless people. And if we saw a female crawled up and lying in the fetal position, and we went up to her and we wanted to help her, and we said, what's wrong? How can we help you tell us your story? And if she said, well, when I was 14, I was kidnapped, and I was raped every single day for 9 months, taken from my family, and lived outside. And we would go, oh, well, no wonder you're homeless. No wonder your life is ruined. Except that happened to Elizabeth Smart. And she says that being kidnapped has made her more compassionate. She decided to have a different headspace. Her mom said to her, hey, that was terrible. We can never make that right. It was awful. But don't give him one more day. You got to take your happiness back. You're in control. Can you imagine what she goes through her head? But somehow, she's amazing because of her headspace. So awesome. So these are some of just my favorite things to listen to or read. If you like anything by Napoleon Hill, everybody should read Think and Grow Rich. It's one of the best books that was ever written. Right? Such a great book. Everybody should read it, like every year. Anything by Maxwell Maltz, The Science of Getting Rich, James Allen, amazing, amazing book, As Men Thinketh. Anything by Stephen Covey or Wayne Dyer or Tony Robbins, or there's a gazillion TED Talks that are awesome. Like, there's so much good stuff. Don't, like, go home and feed yourself, like, mental junk food. Like, spend some time watching great stuff and listening to good stuff, because it's going to make a huge difference in your life. Okay, so number 1, we talked about headspace. I said there's 3 things. So number 2, let's talk about the next thing that I've noticed that people that are ultra successful have in common. Number 1, they got incredible headspace. Number 2, they have right systems in the right business. So, are any of you familiar with Jim Collins' book, Good to Great? Incredible book. I love Jim Collins. He's so awesome. And he talks about this. He talks about when you've got to find a business or work in something where these 3 things come together. Number 1, you have to be very passionate about it. You've got whatever you are passionate about and that you love, that would be a good business to go into. The other thing is what are you awesome at? What can you be the best in the world? Or what can you be freaking awesome at? And then the third thing is does it make money? My oldest daughter graduated from Berklee College of Music in Boston, and had incredible music opportunities, and she's done amazing things. And our family does have a bluegrass band, and she's been a national fiddle champ, and she's been a banjo champ, and we've done all these really fun things together. And she's just this incredible musician, and she has done some really cool things in her area, but she's had a really hard time monetizing it. Really hard time monetizing it. She's really good, and she's really passionate, but cannot quite monetize it. It's not a good business. She does that as a hobby, but it's not where she makes money. She does something else and makes great money. So you gotta think about, if you're thinking of doing your own business or working for somebody else, you gotta be passionate about it. I don't know anybody that's really successful, and I know lots and lots of uber successful people. They're all very passionate about what they do. And they're all different things, like we all have different tastes. Whatever you're passionate about, that's a good thing to follow, but you gotta be really great at it. I knew a guy who really wanted to be a professional golfer. He wasn't great at it. And so that wasn't good. You've got to be great at it, passionate, and then there has to be a way for you to make money. You know, when my husband first said, I want to do this nutrition thing, I'm like, I don't know how to make money doing that. So I figured out a system to make money. So there wasn't a way to do that to make money, and I figured it out. So I'm not saying that if somebody hasn't done it, you can't do it. You can do it. Heather, how much time do I have? 10 minutes? Thank you. So if it has been monetized or not, you can monetize it. So don't be afraid that nobody else has done it. But if after a time there's no money in it, you got to find something that you have all three of those things together. And then, so in our clinic, every single one of our employees can say this. This is our passion, our vision. We change lives through holistic nutrition and clinical excellence. They all know what it is. They all can say that's our purpose. And we have 7 value statements. They can all repeat the value statements, and they all know the purpose. We change lives. Whose lives do we change? We change our lives. We change the lives of the people we work with. We change patients' lives. We change our doctors' lives. We change clients' lives. We change everybody's lives through holistic nutrition and clinical excellence, and we are so passionate about it. We love it. It's so awesome. So whatever you think is so awesome, that's what you want to follow. In our business, the way we've monetized this is we have 3 different businesses. We have consulting, we have software, and we have supplements. They're each 3 different businesses. In the consulting, the reason we're able to do consulting is because I've got the experience. I've done this for so many years. I paid my price. I paid my dues. Nowadays, you guys have really, with the internet, you can like start day one on something. But it's also not a bad idea to get experience and go work for people. It's great to get experience and get that under your belt. Go work for somebody who's awesome and model what they do. But because I have so many years of experience, I now can teach my employees who go out and consult, and we have an incredible business that's changing people's lives all over the country. We have a very far-reaching effect, it's cool. And then software, I didn't know a thing about software. I didn't know a thing. I now own a software company. Have about 6 developers that work for us. Man, anybody in software and engineering or computer, okay, that is such a great field. Like it is so, there's such high demand. And then if you do your own thing, oh gosh, such a high demand in that field. But I didn't know anything about it. I had to learn so much, but I saw there were things that we needed, and I couldn't find a software that did it. So I'm like, we're gonna write this and we're gonna do it. We've put hundreds of thousands of dollars of investments in it, but I now have a very profitable software company that people pay a membership fee of, $300 a month. We've got thousands of people that pay that. It's a good deal. It's a good gig. And then the other third business we have is we have a supplement company. We saw a line that was incredible, the highest quality line that we could find, and they didn't have it for doctors. And so we started that for doctors only line, and it's been incredible. It's changing people's lives. It's awesome. But why did I have that? Because I saw an opportunity. There's this great thing, and nobody's doing it. This cool opportunity, nobody's doing it for doctors, so let's do that. So those are 3 things that are important: to get experience, to find a need that somebody has and fulfill that. And the third thing is to seize an opportunity. I saw those 3 things, and I started 3 different businesses from those and they work synergistically very well together. And it's very profitable, and it's fun, it's awesome, and it's exciting. Now, when you have a business, one of the most important things that you have to do is have systems in your business. You have to have systems. I don't eat at McDonald's anymore. I haven't eaten there for years. But I've had a Big Mac in France and in London and in New York and Salt Lake City. And you know what? They're all the same. Have you ever noticed? Like, they don't have rocket scientists making those Big Macs. It's not that you have to be super smart, but they have incredible systems. They have amazing systems. So in our business, everything is systemized, so that if somebody leaves, that somebody else can come and we plug that system. So it's really important when you do your own thing to get a system in place. And then the last thing is hard work. So none of this get-rich-quick stuff. It's called work hard and get really rich. Thomas Edison said, opportunity is missed by most people because it's dressed in overalls and looks like work. But you know what, guess what? When you do something you're passionate, it never feels like you work. It's just fun. Like, we do it, my husband and I talk about business all the time because we love it so much. Like, it's just what we do. It's just fun. And I told you, when I'm reading a book for pleasure, it's a business book because that's fun to me. So it's easy to work hard when it feels like you're playing all the time. It's really easy. So I want to talk one more thing about hard work. So I want you to think about, this is where we are, just that circle. We're in our comfort zone. And if we want to go to endless possibilities, anything in the world that you want, in order to get to endless possibilities, guess what? You got to go through some pain. There's a little bit of pain you got to go through. And so what happens is we start out to do something. Let's say we want to lose weight, okay? I'm going to lose weight, so I'm going to stop eating at McDonald's. But then it's time for lunch, and I'm like, I really want some candy. I really want some junk food. I really want this or that. Because it's painful. If I don't give myself that, it's painful. So I go back in my comfort zone. But then I stay really sick and overweight, right? You have to go through pain to get the endless possibilities. It's the same thing in business. It's hard work. Getting through college is not easy. There's hard work of doing all your studying. But if you go through the hard work of studying and all the stuff that's required of you guys, there's endless possibilities on the other side. So you know what you say when you feel pain? You just say, bring it on. Bring on the pain, because it's getting me one step closer to my goal. So don't be afraid of hard work, and don't be afraid of pain, because that will get you to your endless possibilities. Just say, pain sets me free, because it does. When we got out of school, we had $140,000 of student loans, and this was like 30 years ago. So I'm sure that you guys have some student loans, and it feels like a ball and a chain. But you know what? It doesn't have to be a ball and a chain. You can say, I'm so grateful that I got that education. I'm so grateful that I have these new tools that can help me move where I'm going to be and get to the next level. We paid off our student loans in 4 years because we worked our freaking guts out. And we had fun doing it. So, I want to talk about, in closing, how important it is to continue learning. This is an ad from a business mastermind that I go to. And Damon John goes to he says, the ad says, how much could you expand your thinking in 2018 by surrounding yourself with 100+ genius business pioneers and multimillionaires? I pay to go to this seminar, and I've been a member for several years, $30,000 a year to be in this membership, in this seminar. It's called it's a mastermind. It's called War Room, and it's marketing. It's marketing seminar, and you guys get to come and do this as part of your college education. So enjoy it every single minute, and then when you get out of school, keep learning and keep growing, because there's so much cool stuff out there. Don't let it stop. So here's the deal. In closing, those are the 3 things. But which of those 3 is most important? Headspace, right business with right systems, and work hard. To me, it's the headspace, because if you don't have the right headspace, you won't do the rest of them. So again, you can have and do anything that you want, and you absolutely positively have control over your success today and right now. Do we have 2 minutes for questions, or?
We do.
Okay. Anybody have any questions at all?
So I was raised on that, like the science of getting rich.
What parents you have? Seriously?
Yeah, they're great. And so it's like you do everything that you want, and you can't do something you can't, you know. But my dad's always had a really positive side of things. So what motivates you to stay positive? What all of this?
Okay. Well, this is a plug. This is a plug, and I wasn't going to say it, but I am now. She said, what motivates you to stay positive? I got to put a plug in for, first of all, to change any negative situation to a positive one, there's a question. It's what's good about this. But I got to tell you something else. If you put junk in your body, you're going to have junk in your mind. If you drink Diet Coke, if you eat a lot of fast foods and junk and sugar, you're going to be depressed. So much of this is what we eat. I was recently at an internet marketing seminar, and the guy that was teaching it makes $1 million a month online. $1 million a month. He was the keynote speaker, and he's going to tell us what we're doing. So we're like all on the edges of our seat, like, what are the ninja SEO things? Like, what's he doing? What are these tricks that he's doing online to make $1 million a month? So this guy stands up and he said, I'm going to tell you how I make $1 million a month online. And you're not going to like you're not gonna like what I'm telling you. So I'm gonna tell you what I believe it is, and I'm gonna tell you what you wanna hear. The reason, and he says, okay, this is the true reason I make $1 million a month online. Because I don't put crap in my body. I eat things that are live, I eat fresh fruits and vegetables, and there's so many healthy and great foods, right? You can go any restaurant, any place and get good stuff. He said, I don't eat anything that doesn't serve my body. I don't put crap. I don't put crap in my car, I don't put crap in my body. And because I eat better than the rest of you, I can do better than the rest of you. And then he goes, okay, now I'll tell you what you want to hear. And he told us some other stuff. He goes, but that's not the reason. The reason is because they eat right. So I'm going to give you that plug. I'm going to challenge all of you to look at what you eat. Because depression is caused by what you're eating. And we take people all the time and change their lives around. And I bet your dad has some chemical stuff. And that's not what everybody wants to hear. And that's really not my topic today. And had you not asked that question, I wouldn't have said it. But that might be the biggest takeaway. So, are we good? Done?